Hey everybody, C. Stevens from Tradefish Designs. Here today with a conversion of the noteworthy simple scrap layout for a 12 by 12 double page layout. I'm going to convert it to a scrap journal size and show you how I did it. Keep watching. In today's video, we're going to take the Creative Memories Noteworthy Simple Page Kit. For today's video, it's going to be number 6, but there's 1 through 12. It's a kit that was put together by Creative Memories as really kind of a jump start to do 2 12 by 12 page layouts. So a double page layout. And we're talking about doing today is converting that from 2 12 by 12s to 2 scrapbook journal sizes. So this video is just going to show you how I would potentially cut down one of these pre-done kits to make it work for me in a scrap journal. When you buy the Noteworthy Simple Page Kit, I'm going to show you what you get. You get obviously this first page, which has the cutting dimensions and the information. And then in number 6, you get, let me pull this out, a left page and a right page, right? Doing the 12 by 12. It's not all going to fit in the screen, but we'll take care of that in a few minutes. And then you get a third page, which has the decorative elements, right? And then on the back, if you look, it has the cutting instructions, right? And now these are all designed for the 12 by 12. So I'm going to show you kind of what I do differently to make it scrap journal friendly. And then the final thing that is included is a sticker kit. In this case, it is number 6. I believe that corresponds with June. So that's kind of a Father's Day male fishing kind of fun layout. Let's go ahead and get started with the first 2 pages. Now, in order to convert this down to the scrap journal size, I kind of have to look at the layout and figure out, I know I have to take 1 inch off the bottom and 1 inch off the top, and I think it's 5 1/4 off either side. But I have to figure out, what do I want that layout to look like, right? Do I want it to come to the end here? Do I want to include this? Well, let's see. Let's first cut off 1 inch off of the top and the bottom. Okay. Okay. Okay, there's one. Okay, that's the right side. Now let's do the left. Try to do this as quick as I can for you. Keep the video short. All right. So now we have both sides. Okay. Now we have to decide. Let me move one page out. Do we want it to cut off here and lose this, or do we want to go to the far right? I think I'm going to go to the far right because we already cut off this fun fly fishing lures from the top, and we lose it otherwise. So let's go ahead and we're going to cut the 5 1/4 off of this side. Okay. So we're going to protect that. So let's see. You know, measure twice, cut once, right? There we go. Okay, so we're putting that up to 5 1/4. Okay. Okay, and there we have the right side. Now let's do the same to the other side. 5 1/4. And now we could potentially use these as scraps for something else. So we're just going to save these. Okay. And then as you can see, it's starting to come together. It's basically, you know, a miniature version. So we're making progress there. Now let's go ahead and we're going to cut the larger pieces, which basically serve as the mats for the photos. And there are a couple of tags. They're decorative, but they also act as mats. I'm just going to line that up. And I still want to use these, but I'm going to use them for smaller photos, right? Because I'm working with a smaller base. So let's go ahead and cut these. And here are the bases for 2 4x6 photos. Not really going to use the 4x6, but this will just show you kind of, this is what it's going to look like. Here's another mat. That's a 4x6. Okay. Put that over here. And then here what we have are going to be, in the original layout, a couple of tags. So we've got to cut the edges off. And I'm just going to use some scissors. Okay. And by the way, all of this on this third page with the cut apart elements, all of this can be cut with scissors. I just use my cutter because it's much faster. Okay. And so now what we have to do is we have to figure out kind of what size photos are we going to use, because obviously if we use the page as an example, I could still use this, but I wouldn't be able to use this photo, right? Because it would be cut off. And I could use I might be able to use 2 of the tags. So if you wanted to keep it as a 4x6 and then put, let's see, what are these? These are going to be maybe 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Photos if you wanted to do square. You could do that and keep it in the same format. Okay, and then on this page, it'd be something like this. And you'd probably only get 1 of these photos in there. So if you're using the scrap journal, but you're using it with more of the traditional larger size photos, you can absolutely do that. You can tuck this. You can actually use this for journaling. Put a photo here, photo, and then put some lined paper or something else here. And that can be a fun journaling block. Or you could use that for your title, which would also be great. And you could keep more traditional size photos. I think this is going to be, yeah, this will be the 4x4. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then you could still use all the things here to do whatever embellishments you like. What I've decided to do is I still want to get potentially the same number of photos. I just need to shrink everything, and that's going to be in the next part of this video. Okay, everyone, here is the finished layout. I went ahead and stuck as close to the original layout idea as possible, but I basically shrunk everything down, but still have large enough photos. I basically converted I believe this was a 5.5 by 3.5 photo to a 3x4 and a 3x4, and changed them from horizontal to vertical. And then I kept the 2 tags. I made them a little smaller. This one has room for a 2.5 by 2.5 inch photo, and this one I left as a tag for journaling. On this side, I kept the, instead of it being 3.5 by 3.5 photos, I made them 3 by 3. So I cut down all the mats to accommodate the sizes. And then here, it's a 5.5 by 3.5 photo. I kept that, but I eliminated one of the 3.5 by 3.5 photos. So I still managed to get 6 photos in this layout. I'm 1 photo shy. Well, no, I take that back. I'm 2 photos shy because I converted one of the photos to a journaling mat. And then I went ahead and decorated similar to, get this in your field screen. I decorated very close to what was in the original simple page kit, number 6. So this is my example of how you take a noteworthy simple page kit with 2 12 by 12 page layouts and convert it down to size for a scrap journal. I hope you've enjoyed this, and let me show you what I have left over from the stickers I have left over. And then I have a number of pieces of scrap, and I'm thinking about basically creating a Father's Day card with all of these scraps, and I will go ahead and do that and post it to my blog so you can see it. Hope you've enjoyed this, and as always, guys, keep it crafty. Bye. Hey everyone, I'm so glad you made it to the end. I did comment that I would probably make a card using the leftovers, and here it is. You'll see I took the stickers and I basically made an embellishment cluster. I used the Happy Father's Day Dad, and I have a thing about no naked cards. In the inside of the card, I again used some of the scrap paper, some stickers, and finish off the inside. And I will save this for my husband for Father's Day. If you're still here, I wanted to thank you for joining. I want you to like, subscribe, do all the things, but I also wanted to remind you of the Miles to Memory Scrapbook Cruise. This takes place January 2027, 7 days on board a Royal Caribbean ship. 3 of the days at sea, we will be basically scrapbooking, creating pretty things. Love you to join us. There are 50 slots available. 30 of them have already been filled, so act now. If you're interested, check out the information in the description. Otherwise, that's it. Take it easy and keep it crafty. Bye.